Hey y'all, and welcome back to Southern Chatter. Today I am joined by none other than my son, Otto, who is not very happy. Do you want to count for him? 1,
2, 3.
4, 5.
Yeah.
I'm Bucky. I forgot. I don't think I mentioned that. But we don't have Brandon here. And I just wanted to show y'all Otto real quick before I give him a bath. And then I'll be back and we will continue the podcast. I have a lot to talk about today. But I just wanted to show y'all Otto and see if he would talk to y'all. Otto, what color is this? What color is that?
Blue.
Blue. So I'm pointing at something blue. I couldn't show it. But what color is this?
Blue.
No. What color is this?
Blue.
Red. That's blue. And this is...
Yeah.
So we are working... 1.
Blue.
That's blue. This is red. This is red. Do you want to say hey to the people? You can talk right there. Oh, don't grab it. You want your passy? Okay. We are about to do bath time, so we are going to go real quick, and then I will be right back, and we will continue the podcast. Do you want to say bye to him, Otto? Say bye. Say bye. 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 All right, let's go take a bath. Okay, so we are back. Otto had a bath. I just put him down to sleep, and hopefully he stays that way. If you are listening to this just on, audio, if you do want to see Otto, we do have the video up on our YouTube channel, Southern Snackers. So you can head over there and you can see him. I know a lot of people have asked just for an update on him and they wanted to see him. So I just thought it would be fun to bring him on the podcast for a minute. Obviously, he would not sit still to be here much longer, so you get what you get. But he is so cute. And obviously Brandon is not here. Brandon is currently in Germany. His work is a German company, so he has to go to Germany 2 times a year. I think this is his 3rd time going since he's been with this company. So yeah, we don't have Brandon for a week. Obviously, we started the podcast back, Southern Chatter, last week, and I told Brandon before he left, I was like, we have to get another podcast up. We're trying to upload every Monday night, and time just got away from us. So I was like, I'll just jump on by myself, talk to y'all for a little bit, show Otto, and yeah, I have a list of things that I want to talk about. It's going to be really weird doing a podcast with nobody else to talk to. I personally like podcasts that have at least 2 people. Really, I don't like more than 2 people. I like 2 people podcast. And basically, I just like the banter back and forth and just listening to a conversation. But I say all of that to just let you know that it's just going to be me. So if you don't like solo podcasts, this probably won't be the one for you. But next week, Brandon will be back and we will have that 2-person podcast back. So you can come back then. But yeah, today has been a crazy day. Being a dad has really just changed everything. And I know everyone always says once you become a parent, obviously your priorities change. And it is just so very true because Otto is our everything. Everything revolves around Otto, sleep schedule. If we can go and do things, it's like, it depends on if Otto wants to, if Otto's in a good mood, or if we have someone to watch Otto. So definitely things have just changed dramatically, but I love it. And obviously Brandon has a full-time 9-to-5 job. I'm a real estate agent, and I've kind of not stepped away from it, but I've taken a load off. I'm not taking as many clients, and I'm watching Otto currently full-time, which is crazy. I just left him for the first time 2 weeks ago. I took a short weekend trip to Vegas and I went and saw some friends out there. And that was my first time in 16 months that I slept away from Otto. And I always judged parents that always were like, oh, I'm gonna miss them so much. And I'm like, it's 2 nights. I was like, you can do it, you're fine. But once you're in it, y'all, I felt that. It was just so sad being away from him, but also I needed the time. I needed the time away. I'm with Otto 24/7 and I love him to death. Love him to death. We had the best day today, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But I just needed a break. And so that's what I did. Went to Vegas and had a great time. Um, I don't know if I don't think he's ever been on one of our podcasts, but he's been on our YouTube channel before. But Randall, who I became friends with at Dollywood when I was a performer there, he lives in Vegas, so I went out to visit him. And unfortunately, I also had a double ear infection while I was out there. I was coughing up a storm, but I made the most of it. And I also, speaking of that trip, I did something that I never thought I would do, and that was fly Spirit. So I flew Spirit Airline, and so many people, I mean, I've heard nothing but bad things about Spirit. You see all like the TikToks and the videos that go viral. But I had a great experience. And I will tell you, if you don't know this, Spirit Airlines, their front two sets of seats. So I think there's there's 8 seats altogether, but they call them big seats, which is funny. But they are bigger seats. They're kind of like a first class for Spirit, but you don't get any perks. You just don't have to be squeezed into 3, in a middle seat or have 2 other people beside you. So it's just one other seat, kind of just like it would be for like a domestic first class. And I definitely recommend upgrading to that Spirit big seat section because it was perfect. I had a great time. I don't love flying, so I have some Klonopin that I use when I fly. So I popped a Klonopin right before the flight, and I just slept on through. The 4.5 hour flight to Vegas was so easy and so much cheaper than American Airlines. I usually fly American, but for some reason flights were crazy. And I think I'll probably fly Spirit more, but especially because the same price to upgrade to like the bigger seats, it is worth it I would rather do that than spend more money to be in regular economy on American Airlines and, have 2 other people beside me. But yeah, so I had a great experience. Let me know if you've had some bad experience with Spirit and what they were. But from my experience, it was pretty good. But yeah, so that was 2 weeks ago. And when I came back, I just was so happy to see Otto. It is just crazy. And I guess I've taken the role of just being the primary person for Otto right now. And I'll quit talking about Otto and life as a parent in a minute, but I kind of just thought this would be a good time to share. I am with Otto all the time, obviously, and he's become to the age where he's very clingy. So he'll always want to come to me if he's upset or something. He just it's me, me, me. He wants me to feed him. He loves Brandon. When Brandon comes through the door after he gets off work, he runs up to him, gives him a big hug. But if we're just relaxing, sitting on the couch, he'll always go to me if he's upset or if he's wanting to, eat or just anything. I'm just the first person, which I get. It's like that all day, every day, but it becomes exhausting. I've seen so many TikToks where they'll show their partner being them just enjoying watching TV, having a great time, and then the other parent is just being swallowed by the kid, all over them. They can't relax. And I feel that so much because that's exactly how Otto is. But obviously I love it. I'm not complaining. I am just speaking the truth. um, but it has just been a crazy journey, especially being two dads raising a son. You know, I feel like so many people, when we announced that we were having a kid, were pretty surprised. Our immediate family knew that we wanted children. I don't think they knew exactly how we were going to have kids. um, Obviously, because we are two guys, we need a little bit of help. And but they have been very supportive. Our parents and like the grandparents of Otto love him so much. We have such an amazing support system. And I think whenever we had Otto and we decided to move from a city, because obviously we lived in Charlotte since 2014, full time since 2014. But even before then, once we graduated college in 2011, we've been in Charlotte our entire life. And Charlotte was great to us. We love Charlotte. The conveniences, we live very close to like Center City, and just had so many restaurants, breweries, just everything you can think of, so close within 10 minutes. But once we had Otto, it was like we weren't going out much. And we didn't have it. We had a yard, but not, we didn't have a huge yard. And we just decided we wanted him to have more room to play. And me and Brandon both grew up in the country. And so it was kind of like a no-brainer. We loved growing up where we did. We loved having space. We just loved everything about growing up in the country. And that's when we decided, okay, we're gonna move to one of our towns. We were either gonna move to where Brandon lives or move to where I grew up. And around this time, I knew that my parents had land that they were gonna be dividing up because my grandpa, he was a big farmer back in the day when he was alive, and he had hundreds of acres. I think at one time he had hundreds of acres and hundreds of heads of cattle. But obviously that was passed down between my dad and his siblings and then to their kids. So I knew that I was going to be getting land at some point. And so talked to them and actually went ahead and divided up the land. And it just made sense that we already had the land. We can just build there instead of buying land and house. Because the big thing for us was having space, was having land that he could just run around in. And so long story short, we decided to build on the land that I have here at my parents'. And obviously, if you've watched any of our other videos, you know that we sold our house in Charlotte a couple months ago. And while our house is being built, we are living in my parents' basement. Otto has a room upstairs, but we're obviously in the basement. And it's been great. Have no complaints. We at least have like our own space. We have our own like little living room area down here. And then we also have my parents to watch him. If me and Brandon want to go to dinner, we're like, hey, do y'all mind? Are y'all doing anything tonight? And they're like, no, of course, we'll watch him. So me and Brandon have actually had more time for us to be able to go out and do things together than we have in 15 months since Otto's been born. So that's also been amazing. But yeah, so I know that some people have also asked how the house is coming. We are waiting for them to put up drywall. All the electricity, plumbing, all of that is done. So we are just waiting on inspections, and then drywall will be going up hopefully this week. There was some people out there today. I don't know exactly what they were doing, but hopefully that gets done pretty soon because we're already buying furniture. We're going furniture shopping. We are just like storing it in our like pod that we bought. We just have stuff everywhere. So we are just so excited to just move in, be able to start from scratch really, because when we bought our house in Charlotte, I was still working as a cruise ship performer. So actually I went with Brandon to look for the house, but by the time it was time to move in, I was gone. I was on a cruise ship. So I didn't design anything. Brennan got everything. He, bought the couch, bought all the furniture, everything. Um, which was nice actually because everything was done by the time I got back. But I did miss out on that, which I'm so excited about, like just searching for furniture together. And luckily, mine and Brandon's taste is very similar, so that's really nice. But yeah, so we are super excited about that. Hoping that it's like not early September. Gosh, hope it's before that. Early summer that we'll be able to move in. Um, but yeah, so that is that. And just kind of on this same topic, I'm going to talk about the day that I had with Otto, which was really, really good. There's a little farm that one of my friends on Facebook, they posted about, and I looked it up because they had like a camel, horses, a little miniature farm. So I looked it up and it was like 15 minutes away, and I was like, oh, like me and Otto needs things to do during the day. So I took him to the farm. And we are in the process of, if you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but going from 2 naps to 1 nap a day. And in that transition, it can be pretty rough. So I try to find something exciting for him to do, around that nap time area, what he's used to. And that way he's distracted. So today we went to the farm and he fed pigs for the first time. They give you there was pigs, goats, donkeys, chickens, peacocks, cows, miniature horses, a camel, llamas, ostriches, emus. They had so many fun little animals that he's never seen before. And they give you, it was free to get in, which was crazy. But then you can just buy like sweet feed, and then they had fruit that you could also feed them. So it was like $20, and I got sweet feed and every fruit you could think of. They had carrots, which isn't a fruit, but carrots, tomatoes, apples, oranges, bananas, and they gave it to you in a big bucket. So me and Otto, I let him get out of the stroller, walk around, and luckily he was really good about not putting his hand into the cages of like the chickens or the turkeys, things that might kind of peck at him. But when we got to the pigs, I fed them first, and I just wanted to see exactly if they were like aggressive or if they were like easy to like feed. So I put my hand out flat, fed him some apples, and then I asked Otto if he wanted to do it. And I did not think that he actually would. But he was so good about it. If you follow us on social media, or follow me personally on social media, I posted it on there. But he took the apple, went up to the fence, gently put it through the fence, and then the pig ate it. They were really, really gentle. But yeah, he loved feeding the pigs. And it was just so cute. That was like one of those moments I was like, it just made me so, so happy. And I just loved it so much. But then he got tired of those. I think the pigs were the only ones that I was like willing to let him feed. I thought about the camel, but I don't know, I just got a little freaked out. So I fed the camel and just held Otto, and he watched me feed it. But he loved the camel. He was like just looking up at the camel the whole time. He was like, oh my gosh. Just because, can you imagine, like go back in time when you were a child and you had never seen like certain animals or just seen things, and then you just see a huge creature that is standing so much higher than you, and you're just like looking up at it. I just seeing everything from a kid's eyes and seeing them experience things for the first time, it's so cliche, but it is so amazing. And that is literally my favorite thing about being a dad and being a parent. It is just wild. And obviously, as you heard at the first of the podcast, Otto's starting to talk more now. He says so many words. He can count. We're working, he has counted from 1 to 5. So we're working his way up. but you know, he knows red, he knows blue. We're working on other colors right now, but he just loves talking, and it is just, he'll sing, he'll sing like row 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 your boat, and that's been really cool, to hear him start, even though it's in singing, but he's like putting words together. So that's really cool. But anyways, proud parent moments. I want to change the topic a little bit. It's still on the same kind of topic, but obviously me and Brandon are gay dads. And moving from the city to the country has been, it's been good, but there are times where you can just feel the looks a little bit more. People have some things to say that you never really heard in Charlotte. And I'm sure it was there, but it just wasn't as present as it is now. And I just want to go on a little tangent about other people that are raising kids, parents that are out there. Teach your kids that there are so many different types of families. And I think we wouldn't have all these issues, all these judgmental ideas, if we could just teach from the beginning that families come in all shapes and sizes. It's not always just going to be a mom and a dad. Yes, let's teach them, you know, a mom and a dad, and let's teach them about two dads, two moms, and single moms, single dads. It can be a variety. A family can be any variety. It could be grandparents. You know, they might not have any parents. It could be a grandparents, aunt or uncle that are raising them. Families come in all shapes and sizes. And I think if we taught that from an early age, we wouldn't have the issues that we do. And I just want to talk a little bit about things that I've heard, and we knew it was going to happen. We are prepared. You know, I grew up at a very, I would say a redneck school. At an early age, had people telling me that, you know, calling me gay. And even before I knew, I had everybody telling me that's what I was. And I was always so upset just hearing people tell me that I was this and how bad it was. Just like, oh my gosh, they called me gay. They used the F slur. They, you know, how could they, why would they even think that? I love God. I'm not that way. And obviously it took me a little bit longer than maybe some to figure out, actually, I can love God and fall in love with a guy. And that's exactly what happened. And guess what? We can also start a family. And two guys can raise a kid just as good as a mom and a dad. And I think just starting from an early age and just letting kids know that all families come in different shapes and sizes would just help in the long run. And some of the things that I've heard since we've been here are, you know, some kids, they don't have bad intentions, but this one story that really irked me a little bit was one day, it was around Christmas time or his birthday. I can't remember if it was Otto's birthday or if it was Christmas, but somebody was asking, an adult was asking Otto, like, what he wanted as a gift. What did he want for Christmas? What did he want for his birthday? And a kid that was there, I think they're in first grade, maybe kindergarten, first grade, they said, I know what Otto wants. And we were like, oh, what? What do you think he wants? Otto wants a mommy. And obviously I didn't say anything. I kind of just went quiet. The adult kind of went quiet too. It was just an awkward encounter, an awkward exchange. But I was thinking, I was like, that kid, he's heard that from somewhere else. I personally I think that kid had heard that from someone, or I think that the conversation that kid had about Otto having two dads, you know, if that was a conversation that adult had with them, I don't think it was handled the right way, that that kid would still think that he needed a mommy. Which is also, and not to talk bad about this kid or the way this kid is growing up, but this kid doesn't have a typical mommy daddy parenting relationship either. Um, which isn't bad, but it was just ironic how all of that happened. And yes, it might have been innocent. I know it the kid did not mean it anything mal or anything bad about it, but it just hit. You know what I mean? It just hit me. I was like, what is Otto going to have to go through? He's going to hear these things probably throughout his whole life. And I know times are changing, but a little thing in the back of your head's always like, oh, I feel so bad that that is what he's going to have to experience. But it shouldn't be like that. He has two loving parents that love him so much. We're giving him a great life, and that was just one thing that just really really irked me. And obviously I couldn't get mad. I didn't say anything to the adult or anything. It was just something that I held in. And obviously I talked to Brandon about it. I talked to my parents about it, just told them what happened, and I was able to get it off my chest a little bit there. But I want to talk to other parents about it. Raise your kids to just love, and just everybody is different. Everyone has a different style of parenting, for one, but also every kid is raised differently. There's the foster care. There's kids that are obviously adopted, and just start that conversation from early on. And I don't think we would have these issues. That families come all different shapes and sizes. It's as easy as that, and that was one thing that bothered me, that a kid said. No other kids have really said any other things bad or anything. But the other issue that I've come across are, if, for one, if I'm out, and I know that this has happened to Brandon as well, but if we go into a store, especially since we've been furniture shopping, if it's just me and Otto, the person working at the store might say, "Oh, are you giving mommy a break? Oh, are you?" And and obviously, I know they don't mean anything bad, but just assuming that, for one, the dad can't be the sole provider and that I'm giving mommy a break, but also that the kid even has a mom. And that's another thing. I'm like, do I want to, at that time, say, no, like, I'm not married to a woman. I have a husband. This is our son. And it's like, I know it's not that deep, but I'm also not going to have that conversation right there when all I'm doing is trying to look for a couch or a recliner. But just those little things, I'm like, no, I'm not giving mommy a break. I am the mommy. If you want to, I am the sole provider during the day. I'm the one watching him 24/7. And just those types of, I guess, stereotypes, just kind of irk me, and I see it so much. I know Brandon said that that's happened to him, or if me and Brandon are with Otto, they will obviously think we're like brothers and still make a comment about, "Oh, we love that you're giving mommy a break," or, "It's so nice that y'all are out, the daddy is taking the kid and spending time with them." And it's exhausting. And we have started saying more like, he doesn't have a mom, and I'll just leave it there and just kind of make them like think, you know what I mean? It's like, no, we're not giving mommy a break. Mommy, he doesn't have a mom. Um, but those little things are just things that obviously we knew were going to happen. But especially when we're out shopping and it's just us or just one of us, it happens so much. or if like a little old lady comes by and she's like, oh my gosh, he's so cute. There was one time I really took this offensive, but she was like, oh, mommy must be so pretty. And I'm like, for one, are you calling me ugly? Like, you don't think that I could just produce a beautiful child? Because yes, Otto is very good looking. I think he is the most perfect. He's just perfect. But that was just, mommy must be so pretty. And I'm like, for one, you don't have a mommy. But also, me and Brandon, if you don't know about our journey, we don't know biologically who Otto's dad is. And we don't know if it's me or him. It's one of us. But we don't know for sure which one of us it is. Family and everybody, they guess. It's like, it's whatever. Like, if we have another kid, we'll probably find out, because then we'll just do the other person's embryos. But we just basically told the IVF doctor to put in the strongest embryo that he thought, and not to tell us whose it was. Because, for one, we don't care. Two, we wanted our families not to have any preconceived notion of whose kid it was, to where they might feel any different. And not that they would have, but we just didn't want that to be a thing. So we chose not to even know. And I think it's been the best thing possible. I know at some point maybe Otto will ask, and maybe we'll have to find out. And I'm sure we'll find out down the road, but right now it doesn't matter. Otto is mine and Brandon's son. He does have my name, but that was mine and Brandon's deal. When we first talked about having kids, we said if we had a boy, I get to name it. If we had a girl, Brandon gets to name it. So we already have our names. If we do have a girl, we already have it laid out. If we had another boy, we have no clue. But since Otto was a boy, I got to name him, and I'm the third. So my name is Otto Reynolds the third. And we automatically knew that Otto was going to be the fourth. So we took Brandon's middle name, and Otto's official name is Otto John Reynolds the fourth. So that was just something that we knew was going to happen no matter who's biologically related to him. And a girl, I guess I'll just go ahead and tell y'all what our girl name was. I don't know if Brandon would be mad, but I'll tell you the first name. If we have a girl, and this is way I know if people copy me, I have proof. But Brandon's grandma, her first name was Della. And I love the name Della. So if we did have a girl, it was going to be Della. And so that was just something that we just automatically wanted to know. I don't even know how I got off on this tangent. And if y'all are still listening to me, y'all were too nice, because I couldn't imagine just listening to me rambling right now about venting about how people treat same-sex couples that have kids. But I just kind of went off on a tangent. And I know I wanted to talk about it, but I think I went a little bit longer on it than what I was expecting. But y'all, it's real. And I will say one of the best things that has come from our journey is so many couples like asking us questions, which is great. We do not mind if people ask, how our journey was or what our journey was. If we did IVF, if Otto's adopted, so many people will ask that. And I know some people might be scared to ask it, but ask away. I think knowledge is everything, and it just opens up a door. And that's one reason we wanted to share our journey on our Southern Daddies YouTube channel, because there was not a lot of information out there about how two married guys that wanted to have a kid, how we go about it. You always hear about celebrities who do it, and we just were like, that seems so unrealistic. That seems like so out of reach. But luckily it wasn't. Is it expensive? Yes, it is. Six figures, upwards of six figures. Is it worth it? 100%. He has just been amazing, and going through the IVF journey and We had a gestational carrier, which people are also confused about. So we had an egg donor, and then the egg donor, she gave her eggs, and then we gave our stuff, and then they made the embryos. And then from those embryos, we implanted them. Implanted, that sounds so crazy, but we had a gestational carrier who has no biological relation to our son, but she was willing to carry him. Basically, one of the funny things, because to do all this, we had to go to a therapist. We had to go through so many screenings. And one of the things the therapist told us was if Otto later on has questions and, is kind of confused about how the whole process worked, you can basically say, it's like if your oven broke at your house and you still need to bake your cake that you've already made, you might go to your neighbor and you say, hey, can I borrow your oven and bake my cake? So once you bake your cake, that neighbor, they don't keep that baby. They give the cake back to you, and then you take it home, and that's your cake. You're just borrowing their oven, which was really funny, just that we had to go through all that therapy and stuff, just to have a kid. Sometimes I wish that every parent had to go through as much stuff as we had to, because it really just opened your eyes, and just the journey we had to take to get to where we finally are. It was just a long one. But we are very lucky. I know couples that are still trying, that have been trying for years, and it's a process, but we have been blessed, and little Otto is amazing. And honestly, I don't know if we're gonna have another kid, y'all. I mean, we are both 34, and just thinking of having another kid when we love traveling, we love Otto is so easy that he just goes wherever we want to go. He is just down with it. And we are just worried that having another kid, I don't know, we're just ready to start traveling again and just getting out there. But I don't know, maybe it'll happen. It's also just so expensive that I just don't know that we would want to put ourselves back that much, unless something happens and we just get crazy amounts of money or something. But right now, it just feels like our family is complete. I would love to have a girl and, have our little Della running around, and Otto be a big brother. He would be so amazing. He loves kids. He loves being around other kids. So I know he would be awesome if we do end up having another kid, but I just don't know if it's in our future. It just seems like our family is pretty, we're good. It seems like we're whole. I don't know, so we'll see. But I don't even know where else I was going to go with this podcast, or what else I was going to talk about. I had a whole list of things, but it was on my phone, and my phone is currently doing the video for this podcast, so I don't know what I wrote down. I will say, Texas Hold'em, Beyonce, it is killing it, and 16 Carriages are both good. I cannot wait for her album to come out next month, but I've been just singing Texas Hold'em nonstop. Otto loves dancing to it. It's just such a good song. I mean, believe whatever you want to about Beyonce. Obviously, I'm a big Beyonce fan, have been, but that song, y'all, is so good. This ain't Texas, ain't no Hold'em. Lay your cards down, 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 down. Park your Lexus. I don't know. It's just so good. And me and Otto did a little TikTok to it today, and posted it on our TikTok. But it's just so catchy, and hopefully it does well. Go and listen to it. I think country radio is playing it now too, which is really cool. But anyways, I think this podcast is going to go, I'm going to not keep y'all in misery listening to me just ramble about being a dad to a son that has two dads. I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm saying. But today has just been the longest day, but I still wanted to get on here and just chat with y'all. So if you have made it this far, thank you so much for listening. You can listen to this podcast on Apple Music, on Spotify podcast, or you can go to our YouTube channel, Southern Snackers, and see the video version of the podcast. I'm even using my new mic. So we figured out that you can't have the same exact mic plugged into the computer because the computer only recognizes one of them. So when it's me and Brandon, we can't use this mic. We have to use our blue mic. But since it was just me, I was like, all right, bringing it out. So yeah, thank y'all so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed my ranting and just chatting with y'all today. And anyways, Brandon will be back in the next podcast, and we will see y'all next week. Bye, y'all.